What's going on, guys? It's HomeSliceHenry, and in today's video we're back with more Premier Cup battles. And in this video we do have a slight adjustment to the team. We are still using the same Pokemon as you can see on the screen, just with a different lead. We're actually running Snorlax up front. I did end up really enjoying running a Snorlax up front. It does give quite a bit of bulk for a starter and does have a lot of pretty decent neutral matchups against a lot of what's being led at the moment. I was running a Metagross lead yesterday, but as I discovered, turns out a lot of people are running Metagross counters to start with today, so I ended up losing quite a few matches before I made the switch, but I ended up making the switch and then had a pretty nice run. So anyways, without further ado, let's hop into the battles. Alright, and we're going to hop into the battles here. First one is against SizioF, so interesting username there for sure. As I mentioned, we're starting with Snorlax this battle, and we're met by Togekiss. This is a pretty even matchup. Togekiss does have a slight advantage. Since Togekiss's charm has such a long time to do each move, I'm going to double up on the body slams and see if we can piggyback those so he can't get an extra charm in there. We go for the first body slam, it hits. Go for the second one. Doesn't look like he got a charm in there, so it looks like it worked, which is great. He doesn't shield either one. At this point, I'm going for switch advantage and willing to expend a shield. I do shield this up. And it does end up being an ancient power, so we probably could have tanked it, but still, I just really wanted to get switch advantage, and we're able to lick down that Togekiss there. And now we have a body slam for the Rhyperior that's coming in. So we do throw the body slam. It is going to be not very effective, but it does a nice chunk there. Get to the second body slam just as we die. I do notice that we went down pretty fast there, so it looks like he does have Mud Slap instead of the Rock Fast move. So I do bring in my Togekiss. And we are able to call his bait correctly there that he did Surf, which was huge instead of Rock Wrecker. Here, I do decide to go for the shield. Turns out it is Surf again, so turns out he baited us pretty well there. And at this point, I'm just farming down. So we are down 2 shields, and it's a Garchomp in the back. This is the dream scenario. Garchomp is walled so hard by Togekiss in these matchups where honestly, I don't really even have to throw the ancient powers. At this point, I'm doing it more to add insult to injury and to take his shields. He doesn't shield the second one. Oh, we get the boost. Oh, that's just mean at this point, honestly. That matchup is bad enough for the Garchomp as is. Sandtomb lowers our defense by 1, and our opponent does resign. All right, good games there. We do take game 1, which is great. Second game against Pinema70. So another fun name there for sure. Again, we're starting Snorlax. This time we're into a Machamp. So we have a hard counter up front, and I'm going to instant swap into Metagross. Metagross doesn't have a great matchup against Machamp, but it's definitely better than Snorlax's in my opinion. And my goal here is to have him stay in with the Machamp, which he does. We do eat that cross chop. Now he switches into Magnezone. And my team doesn't really have a good counter for Magnezone, so at this point, I'm just going for shields. I'm going to try and pressure the Magnezone and take his shields away. We do get the first shield, which is great. He throws an attack. At this point, I do commit a shield. He baits me with Mirror Shot. It's a good play by him. And he attacks again. At this point, I'm thinking that was a little quick. It's probably a Mirror Shot, and I can take that. It is a Mirror Shot, so we do resist it. I am able to get off the Earthquake. This will KO if he doesn't shield. And he does shield, so we do have a 1 shield advantage, though, and we'll see how we end up using that. We bring in Snorlax here. Snorlax, at this point, the great thing about Snorlax is it's incredibly tanky. We can just eat a Wild Charge. Boom. Not even in the yellow. He switches out to Togekiss. I'm building up to an Earthquake and switching out to my own Togekiss, so we can save that Earthquake for the Magnezone in the back. And with the Togekiss mirror here, he has Ancient Power. I am going to shield that up just so I can win the mirror and have energy for whatever comes in next. And at this point, I'm just able to farm down. Since I didn't throw a charge move, I am 1 ahead in terms of fast moves. Alright, and here I'm just going to throw the Flamethrower on whatever comes in. It's the Magnezone. He has no more shields. This is going to be a 1-hit KO on that Magnezone. Ooh, feels good to finally beat one of those. The Machamp comes back in. We're able to get some fast moves in. I come in, Mash Earthquake. We lose CMP. Oh, man. Cross chop, but Snorlax is so tanky. We survive with 1 HP. We do get to the Earthquake, which takes out the Machamp. So we were hard countered up front, and we're able to take the game. Good games to my opponent there. Awesome victory. All right, and we're hopping into game 3 against Calvin Vu 2. So nice rhyming scheme there. Starting with Snorlax into Gyarados. This one is a bit of a trickier matchup. I believe that Snorlax has a decent matchup here, provided it's even shields, but you're going to watch how my opponent actually does play this really well and ends up taking the lead and ultimately costing me the game. He doesn't shield the first body slam. At this point here, this is probably a crunch, so I am going to be using a shield. At this point, I feel like that was a mistake. I probably should have let that go. I throw the body slam, and he lets it go. So at this point, I'm trying to farm down. He gets to a charge move. At this point, I decided to let it go because I don't want to be down 2 shields. This ends up being a mistake. It's a Hydro Pump, which takes me out. So I have a lost switch advantage, and I'm down a shield. Things are not looking good. We're able to farm down with the Metagross here. And in comes Swampert. Oh, this is a nightmare. All right, we switch out into Togekiss. He comes in with Mamoswine. And while we're doing a lot of damage with our charms, Mamoswine has access to Avalanche, which will one-shot us, unfortunately. All right, and we're able to shield up the first one, and he does get to a second one, unfortunately. And so that's going to be taking us out. We are able to come in with our Metagross and farm down, but he has 2 shields on his Swampert. So even though we have back-to-back Meteor Mashes stored up, that's just not going to be enough in this situation. Swampert's a good enough counter by itself, and it looks like we CMP tied there. And so he's able to throw his Earthquake, and that KOs my Metagross. So good games there. A bit of a misplay on my part, but hey, we live and we learn. So next one up against is Tom Skywalker. So a Star Wars fan, that's awesome. And we're leading into a Swampert here. This is actually a pretty decent matchup for Snorlax. It's pretty even either way. At this point, I'm just going to let it hit. Snorlax is really tanky. We can take quite a few Hydro Cannons. We do take the first one that connects. And at this point, I'm just building up quite a bit of energy. Another Hydro Cannon, you know what? We'll let that one hit too. Snorlax is a lot of HP. That's why I like it in the front, just having a lot of bulk on this team. And here we're going for the Body Slam. Wasn't quite able to piggyback those charge moves, unfortunately. He does let that hit. We're able to get another one off. He did get a fast move in there because I ended up pushing that a bit early, unfortunately. He does shield. So at this point, I'm okay with letting it go. All seed switch advantage because I have shield advantage, and you're going to see as this goes on how I do use that to my advantage. We're able to almost get to a body slam, but he mud shots us down. Here we're coming in with Togekiss, and we actually do feint him, which is surprising because he had quite a bit of energy there. He comes in with Metagross. We, of course, switch to our Metagross here. He switches into Dragonite. Now this, Dragonite can take this in the 2 shield, but since I have a 1 shield advantage, I can take this pretty comfortably. And I do eat the Dragon Claw because we do resist those. At this point, I'm just trying to feint down the Dragonite and then make it so my Togekiss has a 1-0 shield advantage going into this final matchup. And you'll see how that ends up working out for me. Here I'm building up quite a bit of energy. He throws his Meteor Mash. I, of course, shielded up because that would KO at this range. And at this point, I'm building up quite a bit of energy. I go for the Earthquake. So if he does not shield this, this will KO. So he's taking one of my shields. Now I take one of his. I'm up 1 shield, I switch into my Togekiss. And this is where he's going to throw his Meteor Mash. I shield it up, and it's now become a race between if I can get to my Flamethrower before he can get to a second Meteor Mash. So the fast moves are coming in, and we do get to the Flamethrower, and we do take him out. So that goes to show, even when you don't have switch advantage, if you have shield, sometimes you can flip the matchups. Alright, here, and we're hopping into match 5 against, I can't pronounce that one, I'll be honest. And here we have a Garchomp lead. So 5 matches, 5 different leads. So it goes to show people are running quite a variety of different leads at the moment. So we're building up a lot of energy here. He's going to throw what's probably going to be a Sand Tomb. Doesn't do a lot of damage, but the reason he's doing that... Oh, actually, it's an Outrage. I stand corrected. Normally, people do go for the Sand Tomb there. So he goes for the big damage move and switches out into his best buddy Metagross. We come in with our Metagross here. And at this point, we're going to be using our same strategy of straight Meteor Mash. Here, I am going to shield just because if it is an Earthquake, it KOs, and it was an Earthquake, so that was a really good shield. And here, we're going for our same strategy, which is just doubling up those Meteor Mashes and really pressuring shields and not letting him get an extra fast move in there. So we are able to hit and get that shield, and now we're going straight for the second one here. And he does let that go, and so now we're in an even shield situation. At this point, I do let this go. It is a Meteor Mash, so I do call his bait, and I am able to farm down, which is fantastic. So now we have a bit of energy coming in. The Garchomp comes back in. This is not what my Metagross wants to see. Garchomp is a pretty good counter. That's probably why he was running it up front. We are able to get that last shield, and he's probably just going to feint us down here. And at this point, we're coming in with Togekiss. Togekiss hard counters Garchomp. So he throws a Sand Tomb to lower our defense, but that's not going to make much of a difference. Honestly, because it is such a favorable matchup for Togekiss, so I'm not shielding anything, because Sand Tomb is resisted, and also his Outrage, which we saw earlier, would also be resisted. And now he's coming in with a Dragonite in the back, so this is going to be a party for our Togekiss there. And here I'm switching out just so we can get some energy off on our Snorlax, and also to reset my double defense debuff. So I am able to switch back out, and we're able to actually lose CMP to the Dragonite, but that's what we kept that shield for. We are able to throw the shield, and we throw the Ancient Power here, and we're going to take the match. And so good games to my opponent there. Really nice 4-in-1 set. I am liking the Snorlax lead a lot more than the Metagross. Day 1 was seeing a lot of Metagrosses. Day 2, everyone's running a Metagross counter up front. So I did have a couple sets earlier in the day where I was just getting crushed. Ended up switching to Snorlax, and adding that bulk ended up being really good for us. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.